More than 3,500 babies in the U.S. die suddenly and unexpectedly every year while sleeping, often due to sudden infant death syndrome, often known as SIDS, suffocation, or strangulation. Joining us today, we talked to Dr. Stephanie Hansen, a pediatrician with Sanford Health, to give us a few tips to keep our babies safe. So thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
There's always new moms, new babies, but also it's important just to have these reminders once again when we're talking about keeping our babies safe. Let's just start with the absolute rules as to how a baby should be when he or she is sleeping.
Yeah, if there's one thing I want people to remember, it's that babies up to a year of age should sleep on their back. That's probably the easiest, most straightforward way I can put it. And just remember, every time you put baby down to sleep, back is best.
Back is best. Yes. Okay, and that is the absolute rule. That's the one that we're focusing on the most. How about, this is a big one. I know you've been on before. Where should they sleep? And there's so many cool new, you know, it's not just a bassinet anymore. There are cradles and almost like hammocks. And anyway, there's a billion different things. Yeah. So concerns, thoughts on the things that are out there?
Well, the thing about baby sleep that's important is that we really want to prevent any kind of entrapment or strangulation or suffocation. Babies just don't have the strength that older children do, so it's tough for them to change positions. It's tougher for them to protect their airway, and so we really want them to be on a firm, flat surface with nothing in the bed along with them. So there shouldn't be any bumpers, any cute stuffies, no blankets, just a firm, flat surface with nothing else in there.
No bumpers.
No bumpers.
That's a big one. No blankets. Yeah. Could you talk a little bit to the Slate Blankets then? Is that kind of why they came about? I mean, that was towards the end of my babies being around. You put them right in, it's like an outfit.
Oh, it's so neat. It's such a safe option to help keep babies warm at night. We live in North Dakota. I totally get it. And we want to make sure that our babies are cozy while they're sleeping. But they make these great sleep sacks or wearable blankets that stay in place. They don't cover the face or the mouth. There's no chance of getting kind of trapped in there, and it really is a nice solution.
Do they still swaddle babies then in blankets that are not sleep sacks?
Yeah, so a swaddle is still an accepted way of helping your baby be comfortable and sleep. We don't want the swaddle to be too tight, and we also don't want babies swaddled if they have the ability to roll over. You know, some of those babies are tricky, and if they're swaddled and roll over, they could have a tough time getting back into a safe position again. Okay. So once baby starts rolling, then the swaddle should be done.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, so when does that have to stop? And you touched on this, but when we talk about the suffocation, it's often because they get into a place that, you know, it is not ideal or not safe.
Exactly. If they roll or slide into a corner or up against another surface, it can be really difficult for a baby to move away from that.
Okay, so how about cribs itself? Because sometimes you do the hand-me-down, you know, are there some safety guidelines you should be aware of? Because I know there are with car seats and they expire. Do cribs expire?
Yeah, you know, cribs, they do expire, and I think it's very readily available information about what the latest safety guidelines are for that. So you can check with the CDC, you can check with the American Academy of Pediatrics, but really hand-me-down cribs, you want to just make sure that they're meeting current safety guidelines.
How about the baby being in the room? We talked about a flat, no blankets. If it's a bassinet in the parent's room, okay?
Yeah, not only okay, but encouraged. We want baby to sleep in the room with parents in their own sleep setting, though. So they should be in a bassinet or a travel crib or a regular crib, not in bed with the parents. But room sharing is a recommended practice until about 6 months of age.
And the concern about having baby in bed. Can you kind of break that down? You already said it's a no-no, but...
Yeah. You know, our adult beds are just not made with a baby's safety in mind. So there are a lot of surfaces that are softer. You have blankets. You have your own body. You know, we unfortunately see kids quite regularly who have died because of unsafe sleep practices. And we just want to give parents the best information we can about how to do as much as possible to prevent that.
It's an important conversation, you know, to have and to remind people about too. And less is more, really, when it comes to sleeping. And always, always on the back.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Hansen. I appreciate your time. Coming up on today's show, you don't need to wait until spring for certain home improvements. We'll explain why now might actually be the perfect time.